The game now with the choice of first pick or another battleground. Well, Sky Foundry was their choice. I think we'll continue to see in this group stage a lot of battleground picks. Is that what you guys expect here?
Yeah, I think especially when you're looking at regional metas differentiating themselves so much from each other at this point, you want to play a map that suits your playstyle, because if you're just trying to play your playstyle on a different team's map and it doesn't suit your meta as well, then what are you really trying to do, right? So I think we'll see that a lot, especially from non-Korea regions, because Korea is kind of still playing not like a special different meta, just an old meta at this point.
Well, we are going to look at the battleground pool, and I'm curious to see what we can get. We're going to have BTG getting a first pick, so Miracle's going to take us to Towers of Doom.
Not a huge surprise for them.
Yes, exactly.
I just wonder what kind of changes we'll see to the approach. We saw the Garrosh and Diablo in that first ban slot, but if you are going to come out with those unique strategies, maybe mix in an Abathur on something like this. The Genji was let through. Maybe the Genji is like, look, we don't want to deal with the Genji again. That was very strong. Frankel continuing to make his name here during this day number 1. So there are a lot of picks you have to consider, but you have to think, what can I play around? What are my strengths? And if it is a matter of, can we get the first pick onto a Diablo or a Garrosh of your own, maybe that's something you can move into to also counter Miracle.
I will raise one concern that I had, and it's a concern that BTG had too, which is integrating 365, subbing in for Druid, and his playstyle along with the team, which plays very aggressively. And we did see a few times where the taunt, lunar flare were not always coordinated, even at the end where there was that flank, and we knew that BTG needed to take a fight. 365 was a little bit back, and so he couldn't follow up when the taunt came in and they were chasing down Genji. So hopefully maybe with this first pick, BTG can get a composition that they feel more comfortable with, and that might revolve around getting something for 365 that they've practiced with him on.
Now, normally Miracle on this map usually focuses with the solo lane, be it a global hero or a lane bully, oftentimes to control the macro, and that way pull a lot of attention there, as was the Korean styles, to bring the focus away from where your real objective is, which is that bottom bell tower, right? So let's see what they end up choosing here, as Diablo is stolen away. The Leeming ban here, I love this adjustment because Frankel and you know, his partner in crime on this squad have done so well. Sniper in this case, so I'm talking about. Have done so well at getting these resets and having these team fights around Leeming, so much so it's drawn so many Ana bans throughout this tournament already. So we're going to see the solo lane later. They're not actually going to commit far to the Dahaka pick in this case, but actually go towards the Tyrande instead.
Well, Abathur was let through the bans.
It's
so
just,
far.
It's a matter of comfort, and it's one of those things that you can get that to your advantage. They're going to get the Dahaka, plus the Hanzo. The Hanzo, great scatter arrow map for him. There's so many structures to bounce those scatter arrows off, get the delay, but also find ways to get damage. We've seen some pretty killer scatter arrows, most notably from Genji just a little while ago. And so that doesn't seem as likely when they have the Dahaka. It's a matter of Miracle. We saw the resets taken away between Genji, Li Ming. Now you've got Raynor there. But is it time to mix in a mage? Do you need to go back down maybe the Mephisto route and see if you can get some lockdown? Do we get, maybe that's a Frankel Raynor and you bring the Thrall back into business here? So that's the comfort, I think, of Miracle, is that they do have that diversity because they have Sniper on their team that plays that flex, that he can easily go back to the range or move into that melee position for them.
The Thrall gives you a lot of opportunities to set up engages when you're playing against a squad that's dive-focused or very aggressive, and it works really well against the Chinese style of play. So I think it wouldn't even necessarily be a bad ban here, but they're going to take away the Anubarak instead. Once again, kind of looking towards Judy's hero pool, taking the Garrosh away, grabbing a Anubarak, then also removing the Diablo. So he's getting a little bit thin in terms of heroes here.
Surely this is where they can kill Judy, right? Like, this is where it happens.
Until
Can't
Muradin
have a
comes
noob.
in.
Well, I think the thing is, like, if he plays Muradin, and G-Clef and I have been talking about this for a long time, when Judy plays Muradin, he doesn't really die, he doesn't look like a bad player, but he's not a high-impact tank like a Diablo is or an Anubarak. He's not a playmaking tank, he's more of a peeler. Can be if he dives into the backline, but that's not the style of play for Muradin and Crit, outside of Hong Kong, of course. But he will be playing Tyrael, which is, again, quite a rare pick for him.
I feel like a lot of things we have to give the caveat, like a little asterisk, except Hankono.
Yeah.
So is this going to be a Thrall for Nacho Jin? Do we expect Sniper to be that, and then Nacho to be on something maybe a little bit stronger in the front line, as we see Phoenix and Malfurion round out the draft for BTG?
I think it's tough to say, you know. There's those options, you know. You can run something like a Malthael here against the Diablo. Works well with last rites, does the extra damage. Diablo kind of wins the matchup when he's up there against the Dahaka. But you can otherwise obviously put Thrall up there and look for some more damage. They're going to take a third option here with the Arthas, which is very strong at you know, basically peeling and getting into the back line there, eventually wearing down Hanzo, because Hanzo Phoenix, not a ton of burst damage with that. You can kind of slowly get on top of them if you've got proper support, and then eventually wear them down.
I think the comfort, though, in that draft is that you have the Diablo on the front line, can survive very well in that, get very good value out of that Fire Stomp to sustain in that. But then who's really going to be that hard interrupt? We've seen Salvo take a huge step back in all the Phoenix nerfs, longer cooldown. There are roots. Unless you're going Judgment, you're not stunning out of that. But it's a matter of getting the root, getting the follow-up, because it has to be a root from Arthas or Thrall followed up by that Lunar Flare to really get the lockdown potential. And Arsenal synergy against a heavy melee composition can really make Tyrande work on the other side. So the BTG draft, given the composition of the front line, it can still work and just aggressively move in and get the lockdown there. But I actually really like the Phoenix pick up into this because there's not as much interrupt threat, so to speak.
Yeah, I think if the positioning of Phoenix is good, then this can certainly work really well. You've got a global Phoenix that's pretty decent at delaying. You can hit those salvos. You've got Phoenix plus Hanzo. You've got all that extra poke. And when they do try to hard commit, you've got the Diablo for that peel. So there's a lot of ways you can work this together. But it feels like we're watching BTG play against their normal playstyle. They're playing a more macro-oriented draft, not a team fight-oriented draft. So no matter who wins this next game, I'm curious to see where their level of kind of macro-oriented play is here on Towers of Doom.
You know what it feels like to me? It feels like every international event that we have, because Tyrael is popping back up again. Dreadnought Toucher, do you agree?
I do personally quite like to embrace a bit of justice from time to time, but in this case, like they said, the Arsenal synergy and the positioning from the Phoenix could be really important here.
Yeah, it is a pretty interesting comps from both sides here, but you know, I can't help but feel like after we got in game number 1 here, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the side of Miracle. It's got, the Tyrael is something that I'm always a fan of. I think meta-wise, he fits better now than he has in a long while, as long as he's not stuck in the off lane, being that, you know, kind of solo clear, not enough wave clear for that, but beyond that, he helps a lot with that cross-supporting that is very viable right now.
Absolutely, and of course we have the situation of Sank being a good counter to the Purification Sabo here. Here we have Frankel, Nacho Jin, Miracle. They were so solid in the last game, and I do like the Arthas Tyrael. It's very beta kind of better, and I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, I love it. You know, kind of homegrown, if you will, for me. 365, though, is going to be here on the Malfurion. We got Dancing on his Hanzo, 619 on the Diablo, LLK repping that Phoenix, and Loktar on his Dahaka here. It is BTG.
Curious that we're seeing currently Thrall holding his level 1. This is not the most traditional. Map for the red talent, but in this case, it is going to be Echo of the Elements. No extra damage burst here.
Nobody getting a little bit too wild here. 619, interesting choice there. Actually flanking from below, ends up eating a Lunar Flare, but the drag afterwards onto Nacho Jin. Great job being able to make it out from that. Highlighting specifically Blue Beetle there with his level 1 is the reason he was able to survive that initiation.
Celestial Attunement, wonderful talent for especially this kind of comp. You're against Diablo, you're against Dahaka. Only thing it really doesn't affect is Malfurion, as it only removes stuns and silences, not roots.
And 619, you know, might have had the idea there to try and Shadow Charge the minion because Thrall was just out of range, and then maybe be able to get into overpower range because you technically go a little bit farther than maximum Shadow Charge. But if that wasn't the intent, a bit of a misclick there and something that has to be, you know, kind of worked on here if they're going to have a shot here on towers against Miracle. But for now, they are keeping up reasonable amount of macro pressure, even looking towards the Sappers after gaining that advantage on bottom.
LLK, the one playing this Phoenix. I personally might have expected Dancing to pick it up, as he is well known for the hero and also just for his micro in general. But LLK so far is getting pressured. Not surviving, but a quick smite. It was a situation of just which ability is going to kill me here. Which one's off cooldown first for Tyrael?
Yeah, I was going to be like, is it the Eldruid? Is it the smite? Everybody can make it over the wall here, and all I know is that after these first 2 games between these 2 teams, Miracle is not a team that you can rely on being safe behind your own wall. That is now the second time that they are comfortable getting a kill beyond that. Dancing, trying to draw to the Lunar Flare, able to find a natural agility out there. Thrall not going to hit the lightning to get the kill. He's tapping, and he's just going to be fine.
Yep, Dancing stays in lane. Phoenix has returned. He's back in lane as well. So depending on how much BTG can delay Miracle here, they might get an extra wave of XP. They don't dismount Judy though, so Judy, he's being chased by Diablo, but should make it via Eldoran's Might into the lane to get most of the minion wave.
Another gank attempt here on bottom. Roots not quite where desired there for 365. It's one of the more difficult kind of placements, heroes, when we look at the 1-2 punch of the Diablo of overpower into the Roots, because originally you need to put it at the base feet of the Diablo directly behind wherever he's going to shadow charge. Talking about being behind the Diablo, that's a whole lot of Miracle as they find themselves another kill here on BTG.
Yeah, pick him up. Making up for the little bit of misplay by Frankel, who knocked Hanzo out of the Tyrande stun, but in this case easily able to pick up that kill, and they immediately move on to Sappers. After already doing a fair amount of work to the bot lane of BTG, they now want to put this extra pressure on and commit multiple members down here, because of course they already have Arthas up top lane to just do the one-for-one trade out.
Sniper's going to go ahead and start things off here for Miracle, interrupted there by 365. Arthas actually interrupted his channel up on top there for a small moment. Interesting decision there as we see the even trade up above. Sniper starts channel number 2. Do we get a brush stock? Not yet, as we see Loktar kind of hovering there. But look at this, Arthas quick to make the transition down.
Loktar, one of the first heroes we ever saw him play on this role, is the Dahaka at the Eastern Clash. His first time playing this role in general. Looked a little shaky there. Let's see how much has he improved. The Sonic Arrow interrupt. Quick engage onto Frankel. But the Celestial Attunement once again shutting it down.
That was a good job there out from him as we see Loktar coming in with the brush stock. Drag gonna connect there onto Judy. Shadow charge afterwards. Sniper now maybe gonna be the focus. Two-man Lunar Flare out from Blue Beetle. And Nacho Jin with a big old flank here on that Arthas is going to stop, halt, if you will, the retreat of Beyond the Game. 3-0 here over that great initiation, and Blue Beetle is just raw Lunar Flaring all over the place this game.
And his Celestial Attunements, I'm pretty sure he's now interrupted every single drag of Dahaka. Nothing has been going right for Loktar so far this game, and it's all down to that level 1 of Blue Beetle. He is just schooling him right now.
Very good job there. And Miracle taking the window of opportunity with the kills that they've been able to accumulate to make sure they get the macro pressure, because that is one of the biggest downsides, I think, typically when we look at Tyrande compositions, is usually they have some kind of lack of macro, or not necessarily enough macro to boast about, if you will. And so you usually go, if we can't get these kills, or we don't find a way to get mercenaries in the downtime, then we really aren't finding ways to compensate for some of the struggles here that we see.
With a talent advantage, currently Miracle keep control, but the question is how long will they keep this going? BTG will hit level 7, but it's level 10 that is now the target. The next objective will be up before that is available, so this is going to be BTG's next chance to begin to make a comeback. Right now they're doing a good job soaking experience, not actually missing that much as they already pushed up mid, so they're not missing much there yet. So it's pretty okay soak-wise, and they're actually going to try and grab it, a little bit of experience, but the route just short on timing.
It's very difficult to be that Malfurion in this type of situation, to understand when to... It's mainly, is he shadow charging into a wall, and then if he does, is he going to instant overpower or not instant overpower? And again, if you're a pixel off, it is usually a very easy retreat there for the squad. 365 hoping to be able to clean that up with 619. You would like to think, you know, with that many numbers, the calculations going on up in the head there, that we would be able to find a way to get one of these to connect, and I believe we may get that here. It's 5 seconds out from the next altar.
Level 9 just hit for Miracle. It's still a level advantage. They get the route this time. Material just Eldoran mites away. And Nacho Jin, he's just walking through this backline, but he's managed to get himself a bit isolated. Raider going to come in, quick knockback, but it's not enough. Nacho Jin taken out.
Nacho Jin going down is a huge setback here. Now the focus going on to Tyrael. Judy not able to kite away. Phoenix with a lax splash there finds a way to get the kill. Burrow or charging down below there is going to be Loktar to dodge out the Tyrael passive, but Malf starts the channel, and look at that. Nice job from LLK wearing the Sentinel. Shots acquired by BTG.
Nicely done. Quick turnaround here. They're going to hit level 9. Now they're just under half a level behind. It's not the worst position, but we start to see where BTG begins to show their style, where they get these five-mans and are able to win on positioning. But they haven't been able to get that so far. This is the first time we've actually seen them do it in like the last 2 series we've seen them. But so More to come, hopefully BTG, but right now they're still a little bit behind, and level 10 is just about to be hit for Miracle.
Yeah, and those combos are big setbacks within the levels 1 through 9, but they're even bigger when looking post 10, mainly because the wombo combos that are available between some of the heroics after that initiation, especially when looking at Diablo, if you find that follow-up, APOC and Lightning Breath are very, very successful within that situation. And you know, now knowing that we have the sanctification for Miracle, any slip up is suddenly kind of exploited that much quicker and that much greater here. The magnitude escalating very quickly on the side of Miracle.
And they're beginning to try and put some pressure onto bot lane with these sappers. They move in, Hanzo tries to ping him off, but he has not got enough damage, and as such, sappers traded out in both lanes. Top lane still being pushed in by BTG, but Miracle, they are going to kill off this bell tower. There is no ifs and or buts about it.
Bell tower conversion over, and beyond the game, maybe looking for a response beyond that before it totally gets converted. It's only a vessel, if you will, of a actual bell tower for Miracle for the next while. It's 18 seconds out from this double altar. We'll see what Beyond the Game decides to do here when it comes to decision making. If they want to go for a trade, if they want to try and defend over that bottom bell tower. Miracle yet to commit too many resources over this altar.
Mark of Mending from Tyrande could be incredibly effective in these fights. Got two very high hit point heroes here with Tyrael and Arthas. Getting that 2% healing might be good once they have more grouped up fights. But in this case, a simple trade. 1 for 1 is all that we will see. But, of course, that is 2 less shots for BTG, having lost their bottom bell tower.
Now the sappers are going to be respawning here after the next cycle, and that is when we see those kind of trickle-in shots happening. As you said, Raynor has already got those going here for the squad of Miracle. When those are picked up, I don't believe we have a while until we got the second sappers on the side of BTG. And this is a small window where BTG need to chip at this fort. They see it picked up on the sappers. Yeah. They have one more wave to be aggressive, and then from that point on, it is defense, defense, defense.
And let's look at this. They don't exactly have the best objective siege potential. Hanzo, who's usually so good at sieging onto heroes with Scatter Arrow, that doesn't affect buildings. He doesn't have that extra damage here, so they're very reliant on Phoenix, who's had to rotate up. Eats a Lunar Flare, but he is still alive for the moment. And the sappers beginning to march in here.
You see 619 hovering this wall of death, hoping somebody steps too close so he can overpower Shadow Charge in. Root thrown down to zone off there by 365. Looks like all the sappers are going to be cleared here by Beyond the Game, but Miracle clearly controlling here the middle part of this game.
They have full control. Arthur's just completed his level 1 as well. The Frostmourne hungers. Diablo finds a stun, but a quick sanctification turnaround here. And the salvo gets almost no damage. A Sundering, though. They want 619, but there's immediate turnaround with the Dragon Arrow.
And the isolation along with the drag afterwards. Judy has nothing left. No. Eldruin out, and now we see the Lunar Flare connecting. Locktar has the opportunity to dodge there. Gonna opt out of that one, and BTG find a way to get a counter kill over that initiation for Miracle.
That was lovely. Trading abilities for abilities there. We saw the immediate engage coming from BTG. Sank shut that down. The turnaround play, the salvo does nothing because everyone's too healthy, but immediately we see that Lightning Breath, the Dragon Arrow turnaround. Great play coming in from BTG, actually able to take a small kill here, and as such, they're on even talents moving into this objective phase, trying to gain a good angle.
And though it was a really good job by BTG, I would also argue that I think Sniper a bit too ambitious there with that last Thundering. After the Sanct went down, that was good. Counter initiation, good. But with that close to the wall of death, seemed a bit too much here as we see the combo go down on a Nacho Jin. Lunar Flare is out. Army of the Dead going to be popped. Sniper is the one popping Locktar right there. There's the first kill in 619, trying to creep and crawl away, but Nacho Jin is saying nigh, stopping this advance here as we see the cleanse coming through.
Dancing also in danger. He's being chased up above. He gets sniped away, and they're not able to finish off Nacho Jin, making that a 2 for 0. And Miracle will pick up yet another 5 shots. Al comes out trying to snipe him on the backline, but it is not going to happen.
As you said, 5 shots here, leaving the core of BTG down to 18. It's double sappers available on the bottom half, but Miracle not interested, saying, I got 4 shots up here. That's a couple questionable shots down below. Let's take what we can get for certain here. Now, beyond this point, what do we see when it comes to the macro choices out of Miracle? Because they are so far ahead in experience and in shots that at this point, they can give up some major altar phases or even bosses if we find a opportunity for it to respawn.
But right now, they can just, all they need to do is to keep this bell tower alive. They move down, send everyone here, don't even need the objectives yet. LLK is going to get absolutely bodied here. They interrupt the teleport. Tranquility is just dropped here. Isolation is dodged by Miracle.
Yeah, great job there by Miracle, and the Lunar Flare coming through again. Locktar might have a drag here. Frankel getting confident. You see Judy there questioning his decision-making for a moment with that opportunity to be able to teleport back, and that is because of that drag bait.
Yeah, he has that ability as well to, as you just pointed out, to teleport back to his original point, the Sword of Justice. His level 13 talent allowing him to do that, keeps him safe, allows him to rethink his decisions, as you so gracefully put it.
I think the, you know, for anybody who's never seen this talent or doesn't know how it functions, if you've ever seen a Zeratul wormhole, it's kind of like that. Not the exact same, maybe Mephisto teleports. I think you get the idea here. We got 30 seconds on that triple altar, and 16 is eking closer here for Miracle. BTG, honestly, this defense over the Sapper might be the best fight they're going to get. Otherwise, it is triple altars, down 16 Palantir, and down at Bell Tower.
One Zapper already makes it in. Arthur's joining as well, making this a 5 versus 4. The Sappers make their way in as 619 ate far too much damage. They couldn't afford to fight this.
So what do they do now here? Rotations to top right. Dahaka is going to go ahead and start that.
Oh wow, they actually thinking of contesting top left? I mean, 16's not here yet. They have 5, whereas currently Miracle have 4. Dragon Arrow! It hits Thrall. They're going to try and dive. There's Lightning Breath coming out. Where is the salvo? No, everyone's already disengaged, but now Blue Beetle is on the way. Sundering and sank it. That's not a good angle.
The Sundering was definitely necessary, but I think the Sanctification a bit too optimistic. Shadow Charge coming in. Nitrogen seems to be the focus. Salvo goes down, but Dancing on the backline gets sniped by Sniper himself there. Locking in and aiming that one. Burrow down. Locktar just buying time. What seems like the inevitable end up concluding there as he goes down, and now there is 5 shots that remain on the board, but Miracle,
they want them all.
They want more.
They want the core. If they get this, that is going to be a potential 6 shots onto the core, with currently only 619 and LLK alive. They're going to have to put on the defense of their lives. They have to delay this for a couple more seconds. The tunnel is open. There is a way for the rest of BTG to get here, but they've got to fight into a 16 without dying beforehand. They've also got to get there now, because Blue Beetle is going to end the game. And that is game number 2, and a solid 3 points going over to Miracle.
BTG once again having a couple of moments where they had an opportunity to possibly recover in the game, and I feel like looking at games 1 and 2, a better performance coming out from BTG, and honestly it seems like all the Chinese teams, game 1 trying to find maybe some comfort, but then going into game 2 definitely see the adjustments to make up for that, but in the end it is Miracle here, a little bit too strong of an opponent.
They're looking very solid, Miracle, especially, we talked about him so much during that game. Blue Beetle, I was so impressed. The Celestial Attunement's always on point. His positioning was absolutely fantastic. I am in love with that Tyrande play, and now they are on a well-deserved 6 points currently, pretty much at the top of their group.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. If you like his Tyrande, I promise you, you will love his Deckard. I have been a huge fan of Blue Beetle on the Deckard Kane. And the rest of the roster here of Miracle, I feel like did a very good job throughout this game. I thought there might be moments, especially in the last, when Sniper gets on the Thrall, he can get a little hyphy sometimes, maybe get too aggressive here, but overall just very safe and patient play, other than the one Sundering, right? Yeah, it was very smooth here from them.
And to talk more about this game and to break down any replays if there is any, it is once again our analysis desk.
Maybe not.
Korea remains undefeated in Group A, that is. Tempest lost 1 game to the 1. How are you feeling about your region so far?
I mean, I think it's still early to make judgment calls. Genji took down one relatively easy opponent, played safe in their second series against Tempo Storm. We saw some mistakes from Glaurung there. Looking at this series, again, one of the weaker teams, I think, in the group. And then you have this moment where we're watching Judy have some mistakes on the Tyrael. It didn't look that clean. Like, I think everybody's still warming up. I mean, Korea's going to win BlizzCon, but like, let's not get
there it is.
Let's not get too excited until we get to the round of 8 at least. All right, guys. I know you guys are really excited to Korea to win BlizzCon, but like, let's slow down for a second.
Dude,
all right?
an alien take Wolf's place here at the desk. Like, what happened?
What you guys are seeing is Wolf dialing it back. The minute he takes off the headset, I'd be like, look, actually, Korea. You know, you know, it is an early day. I mean, Miracle going up against Team Liquid. We saw that Miracle was vulnerable. Tempo Storm trying their hand at Gen G. It's been a good day for Korea, but I think that there are some holes in the game when we look at maybe Tempest, who did drop a game, and then Miracle wasn't perfect or flawless, so there's still a lot to go.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of the one who got the win off of Tempest, they're going to be in our last best of 2 match of the day, going up against Leftovers after this.
DAB, boy!
Oh.
In their team fighting skill, and they're going into the tournament immediately from with the quick clips coming out.
Locktar is now going to be the focus here for the team, but there's an Ardent Defender. 619's got the auto attack debuff on top of everybody. Genji going in with the Dragon Blade. Reset number 1 actually not there because Miracle lose the first member, end up getting the wipe though on to Urel and Varian afterwards. Dancing.
Quick heal almost keeps him alive, but Genji just getting reset after reset. Diving even deeper. Noob goes in and down goes Tyrande. That is a Rankle. It's just having so much freedom. It's not even a Starfall here. It is the Shadow Stalk getting a little bit of healing, but it's not enough as Locktar is getting dropped. Tyrande not able to keep up with the healing.
Yeah, Frankel got the reset number 1 there. I don't think he's going to switch right back. Actually going into the wall, finds a third.
Oh my god,
he's not
Rankle
gonna get the 4th, but he will get enough kills there. Cyber Agility should be up in a couple of seconds.
2. He's thinking,
and with the Dragon Blade over the wall. Frankel has no mercy here for beyond the game.
Have 5, whereas currently Miracle have 4. Dragon Arrow! It hits Thrall. They're going to try and die. There's Lightning Breath coming out. Where is the salvo? No, everyone's already disengaged, but now Blue Beetle is on the way. Sundering and sank it. That's not a good angle.
The Sundering was definitely necessary, but I think the Sanctification a bit too optimistic. Shadow Charge coming in. Nitrogen seems to be the focus. Salvo goes down, but Dancing on the backline gets sniped by Sniper himself there. Locking in and aiming that one. Burrow down. Locktar just buying.
The 2018 HGC Finals are brought to you in part